Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Monday, the 6th day of July, 2026. I hope you're all safe and healthy, and I hope your families are safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the area of health, along with first responders, doing all they can every day to save lives. Those also that pick up garbage to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children, unfortunate victims of child molestation and pedophilia. Those that are helping those that are victims of prostitution and child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, the profiteers, and those perverts that create the great demands that cause these dark and ugly industries to exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, military veterans, homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. Now, we have Andre Drummond as a New York Knick. There are 12 signed players on New York Knicks as of today. We expect two more before training camp, which is going to be a total of 14, which is good because, again, one of the important things in winning a chip, which the Knicks just did, NBA champions, and continuing on that level of long-term sustainable winning is consistency. And one of the consistent things is continuity, bringing the same core back as long as you can keep them. And again, we mentioned that the Don did trade for Karl Anthony Towns, and Karl Anthony Towns had 4 years left on his deal, which means that the championship window was open for 4 years. In year 2 of that 4, this past season, where the Knicks won a championship. So they won a chip in year 2 of the 4-year window, which means now they want to win again, which is why all of us are talking about repeat. So respect to that, they got Andre Drummond as the backup center. Now, Andre Drummond is the backup center unless something else happens. Now, we're talking about a third string center, and the two names that I have seen between Ian Begley is the most important name that I've seen here, is Jonas Valanciunas from Denver, and then of course Moussa Diabate from Charlotte. Now, Moussa is going to be harder to get, even though Charlotte is in a position of too many centers right now. They could use a point guard, a serviceable point guard, for lack of a better word. And the Knicks have that in Tyler Kolek. So it would be a one-to-one switch if Charlotte wanted to do business. But of the 5 centers that Charlotte carries, really Naz Reid is the best one of the ones they carry. And then you got Moussa Diabate. And both Reid and Diabate can play both forward and center. So I don't know if they want to move Diabate because they do have excess, but it's worth looking into. So it could be Jonas Valanciunas, or it could be another guy that we don't know. There's a couple of names out there that we haven't really looked at because they weren't strong candidates, usually for one reason or another, being like either they're not experienced enough, maybe they only just finished their first year or the second year, maybe they really too old, there's names out there, or they're too expensive. Like people kept mentioning Khalil Ware. One of these days, you NBA 2 people will realize you can't just pick a name out of a hat and think you could just get it. Let's go get it. It doesn't work like that. Okay, Khalil Ware makes $4.6 million on a guaranteed deal this year. The Knicks cannot afford him. And even if you could, the Bucks are not going to trade him. The Bucks just traded Giannis Antetokounmpo, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA champion, for Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez, Tyler Hero, and another player. But they're not letting go of that prize for anything right now. So they probably trade Miles Turner before they trade Khalil Ware, because Khalil Ware represents the future. So anyway, please stop mentioning Khalil Ware or another Mike Moses Brown, a guy that's been through the Knicks system, feet look like lead, and you keep mentioning him because you don't know what you're talking about. Please stop. But they're going to get a third string center. Now, Jeremy Sohan, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Jeremy Sohan. There's 2 spots left, which brings me to the subject of today, Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson, who is a hustler from the bricks, who I like to call West 4th Street because they used to ball back down there back in the day, and he plays that street ball style. I am fairly confident he's going to be one of the 2 players. I'm at least 80% sure he's going to be one of the 2 players that come back to the Knicks. The other guy is going to be that mystery guy, and I'm not sure if it's going to be Valanciunas, Sohan, or somebody else, Diabate or somebody else, but that's the guy. So if they were to pick up a guy like a Valanciunas, then you're going to see a pretty even distribution of minutes between Drummond and Valanciunas. And that's really good. So you can, between the 2 of them guys, if it was Valanciunas, you could get 20 minutes, 10-10, right? And then if you wanted to, but you play Cat 30 minutes, you really just need 18 minutes at the 5 from 2 guys, right? So that's a pretty good situation. That brings balance. That reduces the risk of injury to both guys because they're not playing heavy minutes. And you really, really strengthened your team at the loss of Mitchell Robinson. To lose Mitchell Robinson and come back with Andre Drummond and Valanciunas, you really did. You replaced Mitch with 2 guys that could, bring different things to the table. Valanciunas has always been one of the top offensive rebounds in the NBA. He has always been that way. Andre Drummond is also a roughneck. Both of them are roughneck, which is good. A lot of people are trying to focus on their defense as if their defense is so bad. Somebody call him a turnstile. Please understand what you're talking about before you say such things. Andre Drummond is not all NBA defense, but he ain't Enes Freedom. Enes Freedom was probably the worst defender at the 5 I've ever seen for the Knicks. But Drummond, with the units that he's going to be playing with, he's going to play well. So is Valanciunas. They're going to play very well. So, again, we only need them for like 8 to 10 minutes a game. If you get both of them, that'd be perfect. But really, Jordan Clarkson. So now you're talking about Jordan Clarkson, a shooting guard. So you're going to have, as shooting guard, Mikal Bridges. You're going to have Landry Shamet backing him up. And you're going to have Jordan Clarkson. At the point guard, you're going to have Jalen Brunson. You're going to have Deuce McBride. You're going to have Jose Alvarado. And then you're going to have Tyler Kolek. Okay? Somebody's going to yell, Deuce is not a point guard. I don't care. That's going to be the lineup. That's what's been the lineup, and that's going to continue to be the lineup. So Clarkson, though, is a guy you can call on. See, to be able to call on as your 4th-string point guard, Tyler Kolek, is good because Kolek is solid now. Okay? To be able to call on as your 3rd-string shooting guard, Clarkson. And Clarkson has won, at least I would say, there were at least 2 games this past regular season that Clarkson came off the bench and helped the Knicks win a game. He's worth the price of admission just for that. Okay? He's worth the price of admission just for that. That's your 3rd-string shooting guard. Okay? So, and then, like I said, we've seen Jose Alvarado's work. We've seen Deuce McBride's work. We've seen Tyler Kolek's work. So we know at that point, I'm looking at a bench that your second unit is Deuce, Drummond, Shamet, Diawara. And then maybe, somebody else you could throw in, a guy, whoever, from the first unit. You want to bring them with Towns, you want to bring them with OG, you want to bring them with Bridges, you want to bring them with Josh, you want to bring them with Brunson. You got all that option. The Knicks, now there's some, look, I looked at the teams, okay? The best bench in the East, aside from the Knicks, is Detroit. Detroit hurt themselves. They did. They hurt themselves by bringing in the boy from I think it's from the Clippers, by bringing in Collins. Collins is a good player, but he's not going to get them. To me, they lost a lot when they lost Tobias Harris. The professionalism, the defense is just on an elite level with Tobias Harris. He just does everything at a professional level. I'm not saying Collins is not talented. He is, but I think they took a step back. But what's going to help Detroit is that Detroit still has a dynamic bench. Their bench could be starters on some nights if they wanted to. If you look at Detroit's bench, you still got, now you got Isaiah Joe added to that. Duncan Robinson, Ron Holland, Paul Reed. They all been playing well. And you still got Jenkins. So you got a dynamic bench. To me, Detroit hurt themselves by bringing in Collins, but helped themselves by keeping that bench and adding Isaiah Joe to an already dynamic bench. So they they might have lost Malik. Malik got his legal problems, but they've definitely come back strong with the bench. And then you got another strong bench is Indiana. Indiana is going to be tough this year because Halliburton was, he's the straw that stirs the drink, but he was hurt last year, so you bring him back. But now you got Kelly Oubre added to your bench with T.J. McConnell, Obi, Micah Potter, and Jarris Walker, and Nimhart. You got Ben Shepherd too. Watch Detroit, watch Indiana this year. They're gonna be the main fights with the Knicks. Yes, Miami's gonna be good, but Miami's bench. I mean, when you look at Miami's bench, to me, like you wanna contend for a chip. This ain't like the Big Three era. LeBron, Wade, and Bosh could carry you to a trip in their prime. Yes, they did. But it ain't like that now. Teams will wear you down with 10 dudes that are all playing hard and playing their role. So now with Miami, you got Bobby Portis on the bench, Pell Larson, Ryan Conwell. I mean, who are these guys? I mean, really. I mean, Fontecchio is good, but Tim Hardaway Jr., they're all right, but they're not on the same level as Detroit. They're not on the same level as Indiana. And then the starting five, yes, of course, you adding Antetokounmpo, who's really, that's a big add. But you're going to need a bench. When you want to win the chip, you're going to need a bench. I like to bring people back to the last game of the finals where the Knicks did the gentleman's sweep of San Antonio. Who was on the floor in that last game of Game 5 where the Knicks clinched the chip? Who was on the floor? Well, there was Mitchell Robinson on the floor. Mitchell Robinson was on the floor. Who else was on the floor? Shamet was on the floor. Mitchell Robinson and Shamet was on the floor. So you have two guys that are your bench pieces that was on the floor. Okay? Two guys that were bench pieces on the floor. So you had Mitchell Robinson, Landry Shamet, you had Jalen Brunson, you had Bridges, you had Carl-Anthony Towns for a while, but he was fouled out, but then you had Josh Hart. So you had two bench pieces and three starters. Not every team could do that, especially in the finals. You need to have your bench pieces. Deuce did not score in the game final, and many of y'all hold him to account for that and call him for trades. You know you can't do that on my channel without getting smacked. Don't ever come on my channel mentioning negativity about Deuce McBride. You could ice right away. You won't even see a comment anymore because I'll just ban you, okay? But no, Deuce did not score. He was 0 for 2 he only took 2 shots. But Deuce, in that game, was +3. What's that mean? That means he's playing defense. That means the team played better with him on the floor. Plus minus means a lot. So that was good. And then Clarkson was +3. Porty was +4. Mitch Rob was +5, including the biggest offensive rebound in 53 years. So you need a bench. And the Knicks now, with the addition of Drummond and the coming back of their regular crew, and then you're going to bring back another guy. It could be Valanciunas, it could be somebody else. But Drummond and Valanciunas, that's going to be a pretty good combination. And don't let them get Diabate. If they get Diabate, now Diabate becomes the backup 5. And then you got Drummond and Diabate playing platoon, in that bench unit, which is going to be even more dynamic. So to me, it's too much for the league for the Knicks to get Diabate. It's too much for the league. I don't think they're going to let that happen. The Knicks would really be dominant if they were to get Diabate. See, with Jonas and Drummond, you could hope somebody get hurt. But with this crew is tough. And then you're talking about the closer of all closers and Jalen Brunson. Yeah, the Knicks are going to be rough. The Knicks, as we said last year, so we say this year, the Knicks are going to be a problem for the NBA this year. So I don't want them to go overboard and win 66 games because that might wear them out. But 60 game win season wouldn't be too bad though. But that's what we're talking about. I'm excited about this summer league for one reason. I'm anxious to see Mohamed Diawara. I know the boys been working hard. We'll talk more about this as we get closer. Right now, we're waiting for the Wednesday because this coming Wednesday is when we'll have the backup five. We'll have them by Wednesday. I'm pretty sure we'll have them by Wednesday, whoever it is. But Diawara has been working hard on his game. Diawara showed game last year. Kumo Diaz, he's just signed a 4-year deal, so he's here. The Knicks, the Don got him cheap, as you know the Don does. And so I'm looking to see, they're going to let this boy showcase in the summer league, and I'm looking to see that. This is going to be good. So I want to see him get it off, and then I want to see him get ready for this coming season. I'm looking for Diawara to make an impact in the rotation this year. That's saying something. I expect him to be top 8, top 9, definitely top 10 on the rotation this year. So the young man should be coming for a breakout season, and it's going to be good to see. Because the thing about Diawara that I like, he might hit his shot, he might not. But one thing he always going to have is a 7-foot wingspan. He's always going to be between 6'9" and 6'10", and he's always going to play out the guard 1 through 5. So no matter what he's doing offensively, he got us on the defensive side of the ball, which is the most important. So I'm excited to see how his offense has progressed, to catch up with those natural numbers and abilities he has on defense, being able to move his feet and all that. Very good. So we will see. I'm excited for that. But for now, the Knicks are trying to we got 12 spots locked down. We need 2 more. One of those spots are going to go to, JC going to get one of them. So the question is who's going to get that third one. I think we'll find out by Wednesday. But enjoy, so many Knicks fans like to be negative off the jump. Like you just jumping in telling us how bad Drummond's defense is or where's the shortcomings. Listen, y'all need to shut up. The Knicks are the NBA champions, and we moving forward. If you ain't got nothing positive to say, don't say crap. Talk to y'all later. Sure.